In today's class, we will learn about full refresh and incremental type of load. Let me write it down for that. For you. Full refresh and incremental type of load. So to understand this concept, let's consider two tables. Let's call one table source, another table target. And consider a scenario. Data from source is getting inserted into target. Target table every day. So just consider the scenario in real life. For example, for an organization, there is two tables, one is source and one is target. Every day, the data coming from the source is getting inserted into the target table. Just consider this scenario. Now, keeping this scenario in mind, let me explain what full refresh is. Full refresh is deleting with all the records from target table and loading all records present in source. So here, if you see what's happening is we're deleting all the records from the target table and loading all the records in source. So a complete full delete and then full insert is happening. Full insert is happening in the source. So this is full refresh. Whereas incremental load loading only those data which is not already present in target. Loading only those data from source, but is not already present in target. So this is the explanation for full refresh and incremental type of load. Maybe for considering the above scenario. Let me explain these concepts using a real life example. So consider there is a newspaper factory. There is a newspaper factory in a city. So they are manufacturing newspapers every day in this factory. And at the end of the day, maybe like what is their goal is to make these newspapers reach each and every houses, right? People have requested for the newspapers. This newspaper present in this factory should be distributed to each and every houses. So do you think the newspapers from this factory will be directly distributed to the each and every houses? No, right? It won't happen in this way. So what will happen is, firstly, these newspapers will be transferred or distributed to a intermediate place where they will store these newspapers, and from this intermediate place, it will be distributed to the each and every houses of the people who have requested for the newspaper. So in real life also, in organizations, we get the data from the vendor. We also call them the client. We get the data from this people with whom our company is having a business with. So these people will send us the data, and this data finally should be loaded into target tables. So in the above case I explained, right, newspapers will not be directly sent to the houses. First, it will be sent to some place where they will store it, and then it will be sent to the houses. In real life also, data also from the vendor, it will not be directly sent to the target tables because the data which is coming from the vendor, it can be in any format, not in anything like we are expecting for. It can be in any format. It will not be in a correct form. Uh, there will be no proper alignment, or it can come anywhere. So this the data from the vendor. Firstly, what we will do is we'll load it into a intermediate place. We call that this place in this organization, right? This is called the staging table. Staging tables, okay. Data from the vendors will be first loading into staging tables, and then from the staging tables, the data in this, right? On top of that, what we do is we perform transformations, converting it into whatever format we require, into whatever way we require. For example, a record of 10 length, right, characters coming. Maybe that entire record is not required for us. What we require is only the middle four characters of it. So using substring, we will take only the middle four characters of it. So these type of transformations are all we do the on top of the staging tables, and then we load it into target tables. So in real life, in organization, this is what happens. Data from the vendor will be loaded into staging tables, and from this staging tables, we load into the target table. So since I explained transformations over here, right, let me give you one more real life example for you so that you can understand it much more clearly. You go to a vegetable market. I'm just giving this example so that you don't forget this for a long time. That's why I'm giving all these examples to you. For example, you go to a vegetable market, okay, and what you're going to buy over the vegetables, right? Different types of vegetables, whichever is required, you buy it. And suppose, consider this is the vessel in which you are cooking, okay? You're not going to take these vegetables directly and put it into the vessel and cook it, right? So that is not what we do, right? So the vegetables, whatever you buy from market, it can contain dust on it, as it will be kept exposed in the air. It will contain dust, and also like you will peel off certain parts of the vegetables which you don't require, right? The top layer. So that peeling, and then you need to clean it before you cook it, right? Put in the vessel and cook it. So what you do is first you will need to clean it. Clean and then peel the vegetables, and then you will put it in the vessel and cook it, right? This is called transformation. Transformation is this cleaning and peeling. First, you will put these vegetables into a vessel where you will clean it, and then maybe you will peel it, and then you'll be loading into the vessel and then cooking it. So this is the transformation in real life also. So from the vendor, we get the data, we load it into the states table, and then from the and on top of this staging table, we perform transformations like whatever we format we need, we transform it. And then from this staging table, what we do is from the staging table, we load it into this target table in whatever format we require. In real life also, this is what happens. So in this scenario itself, right, from source to stage you load, and from stage to target you load, right? So in this scenario itself, both full refresh as well as incremental load is happening. So let me explain. So this is the source, this is staging table, and this is the target. So I told you one scenario, right? Every day the data from the source is going to the target table. So the data from the source, you put it into the staging table and do transformations on this data and then load it into the target table. So this data which has come from the source, finally you load it into the target table. So the data is already reached after reaching the target table. It's present over here. Do we still need to store that data here? Is it required to store it in two places? No, right? Since we have loaded into the target table, we need not keep them again here. It's simply a waste of storage. What we will do is we'll delete the data. Okay, we'll delete the data in the staging table after the data is loaded into the target table. So this is what happens in real life also. After the data is loaded into the target table, we completely empty out this target table. And next day, when again we get data from source, what will happen is uh, the next day when again the data is coming, right? So what will happen is uh, this is the place where I say the full refresh will happen, right? Uh, we are deleting the data from this after the data is loaded into the target table. And next day when the data is coming, again, what we'll do is we will delete the data in this work DB before this data is loaded into the target. So there will be a process set up to transfer the data from here to from the source to staging. So in that process, firstly, like what we will do is again we are going to delete the data from staging, first empty out that, and then what we will do is then load the data from source to staging. So this is what we do in real life. So we're going to delete the data from the staging first and then load the data from the source to the staging. So this is the full refresh. If you see here, we're completely deleting all the data from the staging and then completely loading all the data from the source. So this is full refresh. And as I said, in the same in the same scenario again, full refresh is happening, right? That full refresh will happen in this step, loading from target to source, loading from staging to target. Sorry, I've written wrong over here. Let me edit it. When data is getting loaded from the staging to target, right? Here we load it in the incremental way. Let's take an example. Okay. First day, we go to a new screen. Okay. Explain it over there. So this process of loading from source to staging, then from staging to target, it's happening every day. Maybe consider day one. Day one, uh, the source is containing records, for example, maybe one and two. Okay, this will be loaded into staging. So what will happen is, before this gets loaded, the staging table will be emptied out, and then one and two will be loaded into this staging. So this will contain one and two now. And then again, from staging, we load into target, right? So as I said, we'll here the incremental type of load happens. We load only those data which is not present in this already and is like are new and is not already present in this targeting. So this one and two will get loaded into this targeting. On day two, maybe we get data one, two, three, four. This is staging. So what will happen is the staging table will be first emptied out and this all data will be loaded into the staging. So now this is going to contain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we need to load this into the target table. So in this case, if you see, target table is already containing 1 and 2. If you load this 1, 2, 3, 4 into this, what is going to contain? After loading, it will contain 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you see, this is a duplicate, right? 1 and 2 is present two times. So that shouldn't happen. We should always skip the duplicates because it will create a problem for us later. Duplicates, if it is present, it will show it is like an extra sales is present, or it might not show all the counts properly. So this duplicates will cause it too much of problem for us. So we should always make sure duplicates are not loaded into the or not present into the final target table. So in order to do this incremental, right, we can do it in two types where this duplicates will not be inserted. So incremental load will take care of the duplicates. So we can perform it in two ways. While inserting, what we'll do is we'll place a condition which will check between the staging and target, compare this two, and if the target is containing records, containing some records, and that records is come again, okay, and is present in the staging table. It will ignore this 1 and 2 and then load just this 3 and 4 into the target. Load only the records which are having changes, only those should be loaded into the target table. So this is what happens in the incremental load. If the records which is coming in to the staging is already present in the target table, we're going to ignore that and load only those records which has come in newly or which has come in newly and is different from records which is present in target. Also, we can perform this incremental load in another way also. So here, if you see 1 and 2 is present, 1, 2, 3, 4 is present. When these two are compared, so what will be happening is for if this target table is containing records which is common to this which is present in the staging also, what will happen is we'll delete out those common records from staging, only those common records from staging, and then completely insert whatever is present in the staging into the target. So first this 1 and 2 will be deleted, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 all will be loaded into the target. So in this way also we can perform the incremental load. So let's see this incremental and full load by writing some query in Snowflake. In that screen. Yeah. So as we consider two tables, right? Source and target, let's create them first. Let's consider columns like ID and let's give data type number to it. Consider another column, maybe name. Okay. If you're WhatsApp. Now create another table called target. Let the column names be same. Okay, because like we're loading the data present at the source into the target, right? So the column names to be same. Let's the name target. Okay. So let's create this. Now, maybe consider day one. Okay. Let me explain. Let me explain the full request. So it's day one. The vendor has put some data. Okay. Suppose that is present in the source table. Okay. Just consider like that. Previously, what we saw the vendor puts the data into the like the source is the vendor, right? So that will usually come and land into places like AWS. Okay, and from there we load into the staging table. And from staging table we load it into the target table. Okay. So let's consider that by just considering these two tables itself. Okay. On day one, for example, uh, the source table is containing records 1 and 2. Okay. Insert into the source. Let's give values. So let's give some values. Okay. I'm giving just three values for the IDs, which is unique array. I'm giving like 1, 2, and 3. So in full refresh, as I said, what will be happening is firstly we will delete all the records from target table, right? Target, and then it will loading all the records from source. So here, what will happen is firstly the target table will be deleted, and then we'll be loading everything into the target, whatever the records is present in source. So let's do a select star and see what is the records now present in source. Target. So if you see whatever the records we insert into the source, right? 1, 2, 3 with the name. So it's like now present in the target. Now day 2, when this process repeats again, this is gonna happen again, right? For full, if it is a full refresh case, first the delete would happen, and then the insert would happen. So in for the second day, maybe the records which we have got from the sources, 5, 6, and maybe a different names like D and yes. So this is uh, the records present in the source the next day. Okay. Let's what's the name of the system? So the previous data will be it out. Now, let's insert this. Maybe like second day we got rows 4, 5, and 6. Okay. The, the process is gonna repeat. First, the delete would happen from the target, and then we're gonna insert whatever is present on the source. So do a select star and check what is present in the target table. So if you see 4, 5, 6, the records which were present yesterday, right? They are not present. Whatever has come in newly is loaded in the target table. So what's happening over here is full delete and then full insert is happening, right? This is the full refresh concept. So in organizations, this is how it happens. Every time the target table will be first emptied out, and then whatever the records is coming from the source, right? That will be inserted into the target table completely. So this is the full refresh. Hope you understood. Let me go to the incremental concept. So as I explained, incremental load is loading all the data from the source into the target, the records which are already not present in the target. So for example, source is containing 1, 2, 3, and target is containing 1. Let me skip 4. So in incremental type of load, what will happen is if you see a source containing 1, 2, 3, and target is already containing 1, 2, and it's containing 4. So this 1 and 2 should not be inserted into target again because it's already present over. Only 3 should be inserted because that is different from the records present in the target. So this is the incremental type of load. So let's try to query how this happens in real life. Insert info, we're inserting the data into the target table. All the records from source, and we'll place a condition, wait condition, which will make sure that the duplicates is not getting inserted and only the different the records which are not present with the target, which is not common between the target and the source, is getting inserted. Okay, where source right source got ID not in. This is the condition which will make sure, which will take care of that duplicates. It will not insert the duplicates again into the target. Okay, and let's run this. Before that, let me empty out this. Let's recreate this. It's empty now, and into the source and target. Let's paste some values so that I can explain the incremental concept properly. So this containing 4, 5, and 6. Now for the target, what we'll do is suppose it's containing records 1, and let 6 and others, yes, let it be like that. So in this case, the incremental load, what it should do is it will compare between these two. Whatever records is common, right? The 6 yes, this is common, right? It's already present in the target. So this is the target table. So the 6s should not be loaded. These are different, right? It's not present in this target table already. So only this should be loaded into the target table. So let's check if that kind of what query we did, right? That's doing that for. So I'm gonna run this insert. So if you see two records is inserted, let's do a select start from target. You see here it's containing 1, 2, 6, 4, 5. So what was target containing previously? 1, 2 was there, 6 was there. Only 4 and 5 is has come in newly. 4 and 5 has come in newly. 6 is not inserted. So this is the incremental type of load. And this is how the organizations perform this incremental type of load. This incremental load can also be performed in a different way also. So firstly, what will happen is we'll delete off the common record from the target table. Okay. Target where target.id select ID block first. So what's happening here is we are comparing between the target and the source. We're checking if there's common records, right, between the target and source. If common records are found, we're deleting those records from the target first. Maybe like we'll do it from first that the data we can understand it much better. So let this be the case. Yeah, let's take the same case. Let's enter the same values. Let me run this. So what has happened is one row got deleted. Okay. And now let's perform the insert also. Let me explain what has happened at the last day. Now what will happen is insert into target, select everything from save. So this is the other way through which they perform the incremental. So I performed this. Firstly, like we deleted off the common records from the target and then loaded everything from source. So now let's do a select start. So when I do a select start, let's go to the data. Now, if we compare between the target and the rows which is present in the target currently, right? So 1, 2 was already present. 6 was also already present. 4 and 5 were not present, right? Only that has got inserted, right? So if you see only 4 and 5 is, I mean, after the end of the process, the only records which is new in this tables is 4 and 5. So this is the incremental type of loop. This is another way of performing the incremental type of. So I hope you understand the concepts of the full refresh and incremental type of load. If you have any questions, please mention that in the comment section. I'll surely answer this. Those. Thank you.